From translation, TLB, the Living Bible. This 15th day of the year. Today we are reading passages Genesis 43 to 45. Genesis chapter 43, verses 1 to 34. Now the famine was still severe in the land. When the food they had brought from Egypt was about gone, their father Israel said to them, "Go back and buy us more food." But Judah said, "The man solemnly warned us, saying, 'You will not see my face again unless your brother is with you. So if you send our brother along with us, we will go down and buy grain for you. But if you will not send him, we will not go down, for the man said to us, You will not see my face again unless your brother is with you.' Israel said, 'Why did you tell him that you had another brother?' They replied, 'The man specifically asked about us and our family. Is your father still alive? Do you have another brother?' We simply answered his questions. How could we know he would say, 'Bring your brother down here'?" Then Judah said to his father Israel, "Send the boy along with me, and we will go at once. Then we will be able to live and not die, not we nor you nor our little ones. I myself guarantee his safety. You can hold me responsible. If I don't bring him back and place him here before you, I will bear the blame forever." If we hadn't wasted all this time, we could have been there twice by now. Then their father Israel said to them, "If that's the way it must be, then do this. Put some of the best products of the land in your bags and take them down to the man as a gift. A little balm and a little honey, some spices and myrrh, pistachio nuts and almonds. And take double the money with you, for you must return the money that was put back into your sacks. Perhaps it was a mistake. Take your brother too, and be on your way again to the man. And may God Almighty grant you mercy before the man and send back your other brother and Benjamin. And if I must lose my children, I must lose them." So the men took the gifts, double the money and Benjamin, and they hurried down to Egypt and presented themselves to Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to his steward, "Take these men to my home and prepare a feast for them, because they are going to dine with me at noon." So the steward did as Joseph told him, took the men to Joseph's home, and gave them instructions. When they arrived at Joseph's home, they gave him the gifts they had brought and bowed low to the ground before him. After that they said, "Sir, we came to buy food the first time. But as we stopped for the night along the way, we opened our sacks, and everyone's money was there at the top, right back in our sacks. So we have returned it with more money to buy food. But we didn't know who put the money in our sacks." But Joseph said, "Don't worry, don't be afraid. It was God who gave you this treasure in your sacks. I can see that you paid for your grain." Then he brought Simon out to them. The steward then led the other men into Joseph's home, gave them water to wash their feet, and fed their donkeys. When they had prepared their gifts for Joseph's arrival at noon, they had their meal. They were still seated before him when the meal was served, arranged by himself, for Joseph was dining separately from his Egyptian guests. The brothers were seated at a separate table according to their rank, from the oldest to the youngest. And the brothers were astonished to be seated this way, by rank. After the meal, Joseph gave orders for them to be given grain for their journey. He also gave them provisions for the road. Then he sent his brothers away with their donkeys, and they left. But as they were leaving, Joseph said to his steward, "Follow them and catch up with them. When you do, say to them, 'Why did you repay good with evil?' Didn't you know that a man like me could find out such things by divination?" The steward caught up with them and spoke to them as Joseph had instructed. They said to him, "Why does my lord say such things? We wouldn't do such a thing. We even returned the money we found in our sacks, all the way from the land of Canaan. Why would we steal silver or gold from your master's house? Anyone from your servants found with it shall die, and we will become my lord's slaves." Genesis chapter 44, verses 1 to 34. But Joseph gave this order to his steward. "Fill the men's sacks with as much food as they can carry, and put each man's silver back into his sack. Then put my cup, the silver one, in the mouth of the youngest one's sack, along with the money for his grain." And he did as Joseph said. As morning dawned, the men were sent away with their donkeys. When they had gone only a short distance from the city, Joseph said to his steward, "Go after them and catch up with them. When you do, say to them, 'Why did you repay good with evil? Isn't this the cup my master drinks from and uses for divination? You have done a wicked thing." When the steward caught up with them, he spoke to them as Joseph had instructed. They said to him, "Why does my lord say such things? We wouldn't do such a thing. We even returned the silver we found in our sacks from the land of Canaan. Why would we steal silver or gold from your master's house? Anyone from your servants found with it shall die, and we will become my lord's slaves." "Very well," the steward said. "He with whom it is found will be my slave, and the rest of you will be innocent." Each of them quickly put his sack on the ground and opened it. Then the steward began searching, starting with the oldest and going on to the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. At this, they tore their clothes in despair and loaded their donkeys again and returned to the city. When Judah and his brothers arrived at Joseph's house, he was still there. They fell to the ground before him. Joseph said to them, "What is this you have done? Didn't you know that a man like me could find out such things by divination?" Judah said, "Oh my lord, what can we say to you? How can we plead our case? God has uncovered your servant's guilt. We are now my lord's slaves, we and the one in whose possession the cup was found." "But no," Joseph said, "I would never do that. The man in whose possession the cup was found will be my slave. As for the rest of you, go back in peace to your father." Then Judah went up to him and said, "Oh my lord, please let your servant speak a word to you. Please do not be angry with your servant, though you are equal to Pharaoh himself. My lord asked us, 'Do you have a father or another brother?' And we answered you truthfully, 'We have an old father and a younger brother who was born when our father was old. His brother is dead, and he is the only one of mother's sons left, and his father loves him very much. And you said to your servants, Bring him down to me so that I can see him. And we said to you, The boy cannot leave his father. If he leaves him, his father will die. But you told us, Unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you will not see my face again. When we returned to your servant my father, we told him all you had said. And when our father said, Go back and buy a little more food, we replied, We cannot go down unless our youngest brother goes with us, because if we don't, we will not be allowed to see the man. Your servant my father said to us, You know that my wife bore me only 2 sons. One of them went away from me, and I said, Surely he has been torn to pieces, and I haven't seen him since. Now if you take this one from me too and something happens to him, you will send me to my grave in sorrow. So now, if I go back to your servant my father without the boy, and he sees that the boy is not with me, he will die. Your servants will have brought the grey head of our father down to the grave in sorrow. Your servant guaranteed the boy's safety to my father. I said, If I do not bring him back to you, I will bear the blame before you all my life. So now, please let your servant remain here as my lord's slave in place of the boy, and let the boy return with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? No, do not let me see the misery that would come upon my father." Genesis chapter 45, verses 1 to 28. Joseph could stand it no longer. There were many Egyptians standing around, and he said to his attendants, Out all of you. And no one stayed with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. Then Joseph wept aloud, and all the Egyptians and the household of Pharaoh heard about it. Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph, is my father still alive? But his brothers could not answer him, for they were terrified at his presence. Come closer to me, he said. And when they had done so, he said, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here. It was God who sent me ahead of you to preserve your lives. For 2 years now there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So then, it was not you who sent me here, but God. He made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household and ruler of all Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and tell him, This is what your son Joseph says, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me. Don't delay, you shall live in the region of Goshen and be near me, you, your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and all that you have. There I will provide for you, because there are still 5 years of famine to come. Otherwise you and your household and all who belong to you will become destitute. You can see for yourselves, and so can my brother Benjamin, that it is really I who am speaking to you. Tell my father about all the honor I have in Egypt, and about everything you have seen, and bring my father down here quickly. Then he threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept, and Benjamin embraced him, weeping. And he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Afterward his brothers talked with him. When the news reached Pharaoh's palace that Joseph's brothers had come, Pharaoh and all his officials were pleased. Pharaoh said to Joseph, Tell your brothers, do this, load your animals and return to the land of Canaan, and bring your father and your families back to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you can enjoy the fat of the land. You are also directed to do this. Take some wagons from Egypt for your children and your wives, and get your father and come. Never mind your belongings, because the best of all Egypt will be yours. So the sons of Israel did this. Joseph gave them wagons as Pharaoh had commanded, and he also gave them supplies for the journey. To each of them he gave new clothing, but to Benjamin he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes. And this is what he sent to his father: 10 donkeys loaded with the best things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and other provisions for his journey. Then he sent his brothers away, and as they left he said, Do not quarrel on the way. So they went up out of Egypt and came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. When they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the wagons Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. And Israel said, I'm convinced, my son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. Then Jacob set out for Egypt with all his possessions.